Welcome to Mission and Minister Sylvester. This is our 407 AMT A live broadcast from Accra. We want to thank you so much, every one of you, for your participation. This is the real altar of life and intelligence, knowledge that leads to everlasting life and power of missionaries. I would like to talk about this very important topic and treating it as live as it occurs. And we'll be looking at in the reality what makes AF space RICA, or in other words, AFRICA, where you want to call it Africa. But we want to look at the typical side of this and what makes it a news and why you actually need it to make your mind and a change that until you really delve into the deepest thing or the most supernatural core crust of this very information, you will never understand. So if you have had many old men and women led your path to this level, they have not won battles. They have lost the battles to what? Their masters. And their masters ought to let them know that they truly have to learn before they gain this consciousness. It is not just to say consciousness. The most important thing about this is that why do you even worry about who talks about you? You have to worry only when you get to have what the importance, or why you have people what landings on this very land, or the location, Africa you want to call it, but that's not the real name. Or you have to know why the name was given as Africa. Now we're going to take a more close look at all that it is that makes what it is as Africa, and even the Bible word that says that's a record. So the same thing, whatever you try to delve or twist will still bring you the understanding right here. So let's go straight into it without any waste of time right now. Look and learn. Sharp as you will be smart. So that's the main point, and that's the main purpose for our broadcast right now. I did prepare all these things around 009 and 4 p.m. And that's where we're supposed to be broadcasting, but I decided to shift it toward this very special 0409 AMAT. And that's why I give a code, and for us to get a real understanding of why it's very necessary. Why do you even live in Africa or the continent Africa, yet you don't know what the name Africa is and what it really makes up? Why you decide to define what you don't even know? What do you define in your real life or reality? So this is what we're going to be learning right now. I'm going to take us straight to the main point why we don't need any delay. Yes, we don't have any delay. There's a boss called delay in our system. Now we'll first look at what makes it Africa, and then why it is Africa. So what is Africa? Now we'll be asking, what's the secret meaning of Africa? Somebody's going to be worth listening. Today is very important message. Now listen, why this is very important to learn. What do you learn unless you are led by the angels to learn? So various theories suggest that the word Africa is derived from both a Greek and Latin origin, and the Greek word freak or freaky. Here is it. Freaky as Prike, as you see it. Now you look at it. What did they point out right now? Is what various theories suggest that the word Africa is derived from both a Greek and Latin origin. Now, what do you even suggest is what do you have to suggest? If it's right name given, if it's original name, what do you suggest it? Do you have to suggest, or they are not very sure that this is what the name should be or whatever it is? You really need it. So if you need it, unless you have a highest from heaven showing you why location important, Latin languages, and all of that, the tribe and people. Now it's only led by the angel to know what I'm saying. So we will also be a little bit swift and quick on this very important message right now. So that it says what freaky means what? The word freaky means what? Meaning cold and horror. Cold and horror. Now, the name is so important to the one who discovered it. What he that discovered this name or discovered Africa in the latter part of this very conversation is why he gave it. What he witnessed will be why he gave it a name. What he saw or how the people were in reality, what they look like, that's what gave the name. so that the name is actually as he saw horror. If he didn't find horror, why would he give it the name horror? And that is it. So it is, and the Latin word what? Precar or a precar, or you want to say Africa, meaning sunny. So you definitely find sunny world. But what if news is that we now change the sunny world under our cloud? So that this time is also not like that. So it cannot be a name. Then you will also have to have a new change, a name change. Why? If they've known this land to have been what sunny world or sunny continent, then this time around that is changed. How the Lord indeed is a one that is performing and forming the cloud. Do you also going to call it the same name? No, that should be a name change. So in everything, you have to have a news or a name change, and this is why it's necessary to change the name. Now you know that even the African name is not given by our own self. I don't even know how they got it, and the one who also gave it a name or from which they pick up, they don't even know what it means. Now you have just identified one of that. Now you're going to see this in the Bible why they pick up these things and why we subtract here from this very name, and you have to have a new name, and that name is what makes you what you are. Truly, if they didn't find any intelligence in you, you would just be what they are, as given the name. So it is what it is that you don't know. So now let's go straight to another point, or maybe a name. Now look at it in another words, as it says, what is the origin or what is the original meaning of Africa? If you want to know what they say is Africa. Now look at it. So the origin of the name Africa is greatly disputed by scholars. Why do you think there should be a dispute or a dispute with a name or given a name? Why should there be a war even in choosing or selecting for a country or location a name? It means that all these things are not so super real, but it just become something that unless you discover, you find yourself or why you were given such name. So if you have many, many who have claimed that there's a God or creator and they have never known what has been given to it, the name as Africa, and then they have not given you the right path or the name to follow, then they have no God, they have no spirit, they are nothing. They are just under one thing. And when I put those things under this word, you understand very well. Now here it is. It says, must believe. Why do you have to believe it as a name? Or why do you have to believe it? Is it a system to believe? Or is it a religion that you are now teaching people that they have to believe it? No. So the most believe it's as what? Stems from words used what? By the what? Definitions. And that's why you have to have it on my Facebook channel as a Phoenician or University of Phoenix. You don't know it. So that the original angels or the archaeologists will show you what a reality is now. And it says what? Grace and Remens did what? They have to have a connection with this name that you have as an African. Now it says what? Important words includes the word, the Egyptian word Af-Rica, or you have it meaning what? Motherland. So when they say Af-Rica or Africa or Af-Rica or Africa, so that it says what? Meaning motherland. If you have expression for this, says what? The Greek word Africa, that's what is written here. Africa meaning without cold. It means you have a world that you actually didn't have a cold, a weather that is cold. So all these things should have been created here before you identifying it. And what happened? And the Latin word Africa meaning sunny. So if you have a world like this or a continent only made of sun or sunny world at fire without cold, it means you truly would be consumed to that blackish nature you have taken. So you have taken the blackish nature afterward, the situation on the ground, as it is not your doing that will change anything unless the original angels came or the true Lord came to live in with you before change. You have nothing to talk about or discuss here. That this it actually having nothing to do with you. What do you think? I'll be right back with this break.